Okay, we are in the board conference room at Park Forest Village Hall, where the Montford Point Marine Association just held a meeting. They are having a fundraiser at Balmoral Park on Sunday, June 12th, 2011, from 6:30 to 8:30. Tickets are $25, and Ed Fizer, Park Forester, is a Marine, retired. And Ed, would you please tell our viewers about the Montford Point Marine Association?
The Montford Point Marine Association was formed in 1965 as an offshoot of African American veterans who had served in the Marine Corps, and to preserve the legacy and the camaraderie and the friendship and all of the good things that we thought we might be able to accomplish, to which we're doing to this very day and beyond. In 1942, right after the Pearl Harbor incident, the President of the United States, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, decided, through advice from Congress and others, to sign an executive order to allow African Americans to serve in the Marine Corps. At this time, the services were all segregated, and it meant that they had to provide provisions to train us in a special place, and they found it in North Carolina at Camp Lejeune. And we trained there, and the 51st Defense Battalion was formed and trained there, as I said before, and when the entire contingent of drill instructors and trainers and officers were all Caucasian. This was to be throughout the war. We shipped out separately and was only joined by other battalions after we got into combat situations. As a matter of fact, the 52nd Defense Battalion, of which I was a member of and shipped out with, became attached to the 3rd and 6th Divisions, and we were involved in the Marshall Islands, the Mariana Islands, and the Ryukyus Islands, and then returned home after the war. From there, I was discharged in December the 23rd, 1945, after having served for the full duration of the war, attaining only the rank of sergeant because there were no other ranks available at that time for us of color. The incident had many facets to it. Division is never good for anything, and we were fighting two wars, one at home against Jim Crow, and the other against a common enemy, which you all know about.
Thank you. What were some of your experiences like serving? Your interaction with the Caucasians, with the officers? How long did it? How was the adjustment for them?
In the very beginning, it was very difficult because it was known as an experiment, and the people in the Corps at that time were very resentful of the fact. They had said as we arrived in Camp Lejeune that we wanted to be a part of this, but they were going to turn us back. And all this did was harden our resolve, and we excelled. We broke every record, every standing record in the United States Marine Corps at that time on record, from small arms to heavy artillery to anti-aircraft.
You've said before you felt like you were fighting two wars.
Yes.
How was it towards the end? Did you make any friends?
Well, as you accomplish and achieve, some people get to respect you. They respect your ability, your deeds, but that's on a smaller scale, because these are the people who overtly will come out and congratulate you on what you've done. There was one reporter who was in the campaign on Iwo Jima who stated that it was no longer a question of whether we were qualified to become Marines, but we had shown it and excelled at it in his estimation. And so when we come back, things had started to change a bit, because we were offered to re-up, which means to join again, and to double our rank to give us pay and give us leave and so on down the line. I chose not to do this, and I chose to get an education instead.
What did you learn from the military?
What did I learn from the military? Discipline, manhood, respect, how to take and give orders. The experience was one that I wouldn't trade for anything.
I've heard it said Frank Schaefer has written some wonderful books talking about the eye-opening experiences he had when his son enlisted. And Frank has means, a lot of wealth at this point in his life. There is a disparity currently that the wealthy are not choosing to serve, like the Kennedys did, and others. What does military experience give to our society?
Well, it'll take a green youngster and turn him into a man's man. One of the things that some of the youngsters make today, they join the service because they can get an education. But they got to remember that when you join the service, you're joining an army, and an army's main focus is to fight. So therefore, don't think that you're going to walk in here and get an education and walk out. You sometimes have to pay the piper. It would be, in my opinion, if I were king, every young man in America would serve in the military, and therefore I think we'd have a better society and have less people going in and out of prisons, etc.
With your experience of being one of the few, one of the first to break barriers, what are some of your thoughts on current controversies today with respect to military service? Women in combat, don't ask, don't tell.
Well, with regard to women in combat, it has been proven recently that women serve and serve well in many capacities: air, submarines, etc. As far as don't ask, don't tell, you cannot legislate the life of anyone. So therefore, whatever they're born to be, they're going to be. And as long as discretion accompanies whatever a person does, I feel there's no discrepancy, because being whatever you are does not limit your mental ability, your fighting ability. So welcome aboard.
Finally, Ed, you have served on the senior commission in Park Forest. When did you move to town, and what was that experience like?
I came to Park Forest in 1968. One of the reasons was I was looking for a better education for my children. I came here, I found it. All of my children graduated from Rich Central High School, has gone on to college, got good educations, and have good professions. I'm very proud to say. I found the people to be very warm, very friendly, very open, and I've enjoyed my stay in Park Forest, wouldn't leave it for the world.
Park Foresters pride themselves on openness. Park Forest took steps in the 50s. Park Foresters took steps in the 50s to welcome and actually go out of their way to recruit people of color to this then white community. How do you think that worked out?
It's a good example for the rest of the nation to follow. If the example of Park Forest was spread throughout the nation, it would be good in every facet and hamlet in the country.
Ed, why don't you tell our readers, our people listening, watching, how can they get tickets to your event?
Well, the Montford Point Marine Association Advisory Board is having its first foray into fundraising, and we're having a function at the Balmoral Racetrack. This is a picture of the ticket, and it's going to happen on the 12th of June, and we'd like to have everyone participate and come out, see me for tickets. You can reach me, Ed Fizer, at 748-5399 or 269, 2345. It's a great evening. You'll be supporting a great cause because we are a veterans organization who are in need of funds. Thank you very much.
And tickets cost
And don't forget,
$25?
Tickets are $25 per person. And for that, you get a meal and free valet parking on the date of the event.
Wonderful, thank you. Ed, thank you so much for spending time with us.
You're welcome, sir.